Good Shabbos, everybody. About a month ago, as the month of Elul began, I knew that the theme of my talk for Rosh Hashanah and this day, Shabbat Shuvah, would be about transition. After all, this time of year is all about transition. Transition from summer to autumn and from autumn to winter. And in the agricultural world, we are making the transition from that which we planted many months ago and that which we have been harvesting and will continue harvesting through Sukkot. And wouldn't you know it, but the Hebrew word for transition is ma'avar and shares the same root for the word Hebrew. The idea of being a Hebrew is to be a boundary crosser, the ones who cross over. And it can also be understood as a people that are always in transition. The people who catalyze transition as we've done wherever we've lived throughout the ages. We catalyze transition. And the Torah stories in the last few weeks are all about transitions as well. The transition of our ancestors who journeyed in the wilderness for 40 years and are about to enter the promised land. And Moses, 120 years old, that we read about at the end of the Torah, and about to transition from this world to the next world, Olam Hazeh to Olam Haba. On a personal level, I'm about to turn 77. I'm in transition from being the Havarah Rabbi since 1996 to a new phase in my life. And I do feel a bit like Moses, how he must have felt standing on one side of the Jordan River as the people began crossing, and him knowing he would not be able to cross over. Physically, I'm not moving or going anywhere, but psychically, I'm entering a consequential phase of my elderhood. My work is now to bless the next generation on their journeys. I am what can be called a matzav shel ma'var. I'm in a state of transition. At 76 now, I'm in the late November of my life, my inner Thanksgiving. It's time for me to set the table, prepare the feast, and give thanks. I'm at this glorious and mysterious and painful convergence of being in the late autumn of my life, the end of my tenure at the Havarah, in the actual autumn around us today, and helping to birth my beloved Havarah's new beginning, all at a time we call Rosh Hashanah, which in Hebrew can also be translated as the beginning of changes. Looking back when I was a student rabbi in 1990 to 1995, I was serving communities in Crescent City and in Redding and in Bend. A guitar-playing rabbi in the mold of my own teacher, Rabbi, and guitar-playing rabbis were novel at that time. Yet new melodies were being set to the ancient psalms of King David. They were pouring out of the hearts of souls like Rabbi Hirschfield, Oliver Shalom, Jack Gabriel, Debbie Friedman, Yitzhak Husbands Hankin, Hannah Teferet Siegel, Joseph and Nathan Siegel, Linda Hirschhorn, and Shefa Gold, many of whose melodies I love and would share that love with Rabbi Julie. Just 30 years ago, their melodies were a renewing of our ancient melodies. It was radical to do that. And the ordination and inclusion of women in all parts of Jewish life was novel and new. Today, thank God, it's what we expect of our Judaism, ever in transition from the past to the future. I remember when in my first years as the rabbi of the Havarah on Rosh Hashanah, in the morning I would take the Torah out of the ark and ask all the women who've never held or touched the Torah to please come up and pass it around amongst each other. Those first few years, the bima was filled with women in joyous tears, women who until then had never been able to hold our sacred scrolls. Year after year, less women were coming up because what was once innovative and new was now expected and even taken for granted. It is very likely that Rabbi Rachel Dorit Goldberg, who lives in Jerusalem now, will be the next rabbi of the Havurah. She too will usher in some new emerging innovations arising from the next generation of Jewish leaders. And I have no doubt that she will be a wonderful colleague to you, Rabbi Julie. And in the spirit of the time of life I am in, I am deeply thankful for the continued deepening connection between Temple Emek Shalom and the Havurah. I am thankful for people like Jerry Mandel, Alav Shalom, Steve Frimkes, Judy Visser, Aleha Shalom, Dick and Mary Hyman, Bruce Barton, who believed in me in the late 1980s when I was a board member right here at Temple Emek Shalom, 40 years old, and I announced that I was studying to be a rabbi. And of course, I'm ever thankful to Rabbi Aryeh Hirschfield, who started the Havurah, and our Rebbe, Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi, founder of the Jewish Renewal Movement, and to Devorah Zaslow, Rabbi Sue Morningstar, Ayala Sonnenschein, Daniel Greenblatt, who for so many years have been my partners in keeping renewal alive and thriving in Southern Oregon. I remember learning from Reb Zalman that a tree is only alive in a very, very small outer ring of the tree, made up of just a few small number of cells on its edge called the vascular cambium, just beneath the bark. Most of the tree, the core, the center, is really not alive. Its purpose, like the purpose of tradition, is to be structure, but not growth. So it is with the tree of life we call Judaism. The tree of life, the living tree of life, is always on the edge. So it is with each of us as well. Our beautiful traditions are structure, but not the source of growth. Spiritual leaders in our two synagogues, like Rebbe Aryeh, Rabbi Marvin Schwab, Mark Surinsky, Joshua Boddicker, Jackie Brodsky, Sue Morningstar, myself, and Rabbi Julie, have always been hanging out on the cutting edge of Jewish innovation. And that's what makes Temple Emek Shalom and Havurah Shir Chadash so special to people who come to visit or to live with us. Why? Because it's here. We're living on the outer edge of the tree of life, where creativity and a deepening connection to the divine takes place. I cannot think of any rabbi better suited to bringing Judaism into the future than your beloved rabbi, Rabbi Julie Benioff. And she'll partner, God willing, with Rabbi Dorit Goldberg from the Havurah. This is the hope that keeps me not just alive, but so hopeful myself for the future of Judaism in Southern Oregon, for the future of Temple Emek Shalom and the Havurah. All I could say is, Toda Rabah, Baruch Hashem, thank you, God. I've done my work here. May the Holy One bless each and every one of us in our own unique states of Ma'avar, transitions this year. Good Shabbos.